Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at some sources specifically around Zechariah chapter 4 that really push back against, well, the whole modern idea of success.
Yeah, it's a classic text, but it feels incredibly relevant. It offers this completely different path compared to the usual advice about hustle and personal strength being everything.
Exactly. So the world keeps telling you, get stronger, work harder, improve yourself, make more money. That's how you beat the opposition.
Right. But our mission here is to unpack why these sources argue that approach, while maybe necessary to get started, is just fundamentally incomplete. It won't get you all the way there.
And the absolute core of it, the line everyone remembers, is the message given to this leader, Zerubbabel. He had this impossible task, and the message was,
"Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts." Verse 6.
That one line just cuts through so much modern thinking, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests that pouring all your energy into just boosting your own abilities, more education, more networking, more self-help, might actually miss the most crucial element for success.
And Zerubbabel, he really needed to hear this. He wasn't just facing a minor setback.
No, not at all. He was tasked with rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem after the exile. This was a massive undertaking.
And the opposition wasn't just people grumbling. It was organized.
Oh, absolutely. The sources are clear. We're talking about structured opposition. Regional governors, specifically officials in Samaria, had actively lobbied the Persian Empire.
And they succeeded, right? They actually got the project shut down.
They did. They got an official decree halting the work. So the rebuilding had stalled for years. That great mountain Zerubbabel faced. It was political, it was bureaucratic, it looked completely insurmountable from a human perspective.
Yeah, if the problem is that big, your own effort starts to feel pretty tiny.
Which leads directly into this incredible vision Zechariah receives. It's like the spiritual blueprint for how this impossible thing could actually happen.
Describe that for us. What did he see?
He sees this solid gold lampstand. It's always lit, constantly burning bright, and it's being fed oil from this big bowl on top. But the oil isn't being poured in by human hands.
But where is it coming from?
It's coming directly from two olive trees, one on each side, feeding the bowl, which feeds the lamps. It's this self-sustaining closed circuit of divine energy, essentially.
A divine power source. Okay, let's unpack the symbolism there a bit, especially the two olive trees. The text calls them the two anointed ones. Why is that specific detail important?
Yeah, that's key. Historically, interpreters see these two figures, the anointed ones, representing the essential leadership needed for the community's restoration.
So who are they?
Joshua, the high priest, he represents the spiritual, the priestly side of things, and Zerubbabel himself, the governor representing the civil, the kingly authority.
Interesting. So it's not just some vague spiritual power floating around. It's saying that God's power flows through these established roles, these structures.
Exactly. Both spiritual and governmental leadership are channels for this divine supply. It reinforces that the power source is outside of Zerubbabel. It's sovereign, it's consistent, it's not dependent on his personal feelings or effort levels that day.
And that is what underpins the scale of the promise, isn't it? This isn't just about making things a bit easier.
No, it's total victory. The promise is explicit. The very hands of Zerubbabel that laid the first stones, the foundation, those same hands will finish the job.
That's huge. And that image of the great mountain of opposition.
It becomes a plain. It gets leveled, completely removed.
So for you listening now, if you're facing something that feels like an absolute mountain, maybe it's debt, maybe it's a conflict, maybe it's just overwhelming doubt.
This message applies. The insight is that you don't have to overcome it purely through your own strength or skill or cleverness. Feeling weak or insufficient isn't the disqualifier the world says it is.
Because the power source isn't you.
Precisely. The promise is that God's power, this external sovereign power, is enough. It's what makes you strong and courageous, as other texts say. The requirement isn't perfection or maximum hustle.
It's trust. Trust in that source.
That's the core.
So wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems crystal clear. Real victory, finishing the task, comes from relying on the Spirit, not just on human effort or might or even money.
But it often starts small, doesn't it? That's the final piece here.
Right. You mentioned the sources quote something about the day of small things.
Yeah, for whoever has despised the day of small things shall rejoice. Think about it. Zerubbabel laid a foundation. Compared to the glory of Solomon's original temple, It probably looked pathetic.
People were likely criticizing it. Maybe he even doubted it himself. That was the small thing.
That was the fragile beginning he had to trust God with, even while facing that mountain and waiting for this divine power to really kick in.
So maybe a final thought for you to reflect on. Zerubbabel was tempted to look down on his own small beginning. What small thing in your life right now, maybe a habit you're trying to build, a project just starting, a difficult conversation you need to have, what small thing requires your trust today rather than just your might?